But God can use virtually anyone for his purposes. And I think somebody who has the kind of strength that we saw when Donald Trump got shot and got up and raised his hand and said, "I'm okay," that is what we need for a leader. We don't need a weakling for a leader.
Hey, what's up? Apparently, I didn't even know this. Apparently, Trump speaking tonight at this Turning Point event, Turning Point USA. So I figured I'd join in for a little bit. I had a headache though, like for 2-3 hours. I don't know. So I kind of almost didn't even want to come on, but I figured we'd come on for a little bit. And tonight's movie night. Maddie gets really excited for the movie night, so I guess we're gonna watch Trolls. Trolls. Oh, Maggie, I did hear that. Trump is coming back to Butler to hold a rally in honor of Corey. That's nice. Oh, you're gonna try to go? Oh, okay. Cool. I was a little bit on Twitter too, and I was seeing some crazy. Oh, there's an interesting thing. Let me see if I can show this before. I don't know. See, Trump.
Racist. You know, I've known him for many years. I haven't seen anything about him that even slightly.
You're talking about Trump?
You know, I hate the fact that people sit there and try to say he's a racist. You know, I've known him for many years. I haven't seen anything about him that even slightly seems racist to me. And you know, when he moved to Florida,
Trump,
the clubs, most of them were segregated racially, and they didn't admit Jews. Guess who came down and changed that? Donald T. Trump.
I feel like a lot of these celebrities too. I remember before he like ran for president, they were all cool with him. They're all like, "Down, oh, we love you so much." And then when he started running, they like turned their back and shit. Wow, we hate you. You racist. You know. I'm trying to find this clip. Tammy, is Tammy in the chat? Tammy tagged me on Twitter on this, and I thought it was interesting. Or maybe I sent it to myself. Hold on, let me see. Oh, I did send it to myself. Okay. Apparently, it says Governor Abbott dropped off several hundred illegal aliens in front of Kamala's home. I thought this happened to her before. I guess this is new. She posted this a couple hours ago. Bro, what do you guys think about this?
Outside, breaking news for you. This has been a busy morning already. We are going live to pictures from Washington, D.C. And the latest report is that there have been immigrants by bus dropped off at Vice President Kamala Harris's residence. This is just outside her home. You can see from these pictures dozens, I would say more than 100. I don't know if there are multiple hundreds of people outside on the lawn there, but
and this News Nation morning in America.
Not a small number of people outside, not the White House, but Vice President Harris's home address. You are looking live in Washington, D.C.
That's true, Silverback. That's true that. Just know it all changed when he went from being a Democrat to Republican.
This breaking news, potentially another contention between Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and...
This made me think of one of my exes, my daughter's mother. We disagreed on politics and stuff. And at that time, I started kind of feeling different. Like once I realized I had a kid on the way, my daughter. Things started to change for me from when I don't know. There was like a shift. And one of the things is she was like, and I understand her feelings, but she was very for immigration and stuff like that, which I have no problem legally. My problem is illegally and like how the people at the borders are just like, it's just open. And so I used to tell her, I was like, well, unless you're willing to take some of these people in our house, you shouldn't be advocating for this. Like, unless you're willing to take them in your own home around your kids and all this kind of shit, there should be a process. You're not just letting them in open. And so we used to kind of argue about that a little bit sometimes. And I used to tell people that all the time. Unless you're willing to just start letting random people stay in your house with your family and your kids and shit, you should look at it like that. But because I personally feel it because it doesn't affect these people personally, for a lot. They just like say, fuck it. Whatever. We'll take what. No, that's fine. Whatever. That's why I think some of these people, like in New York with the Thanksgiving situation I talked about earlier today, where like they got out there early in the morning for the Thanksgiving meals and all these people are already out there, you know, like until it affects some of these people on a personal level, that's when they kind of care and start realize, oh, okay, well, you know, maybe not. I don't know. By the way, I guess the Olympics is starting. Is it starting? And they had, let me see, the Olympics is under fire for what? For including a child in their hypersexualized blasphemous rendition of the Last Supper. So they did like a Last Supper type of thing. It was, I guess it was like a drag show or something. I mean, whatever they want to do, they want to do. That's their choice. But instead of bringing people together,
Another day, Louis Vuitton.
whatever. I mean, whatever they want to do. The Olympics. And there was something that kind of is blowing up right now and trending. Sneeko and, while we wait for Trump, Sneeko and Moist Critical were having a conversation together. Now, Moist Critical, this guy, I'm kind of like, I don't agree with everything on him. He's the person that felt like he was a, I don't know if he's still a cuck, but he was a cuck at some point. And he's the guy that said that like at some point he took his girlfriend to like these swinger places. I guess he wanted to know what it was like. And so he would literally have people bang his girlfriend in the same room he was in. But he I guess he was open about it. He said that like it was dehumanizing, like it traumatized him. Like I don't know if I thought he said at one point like he was just laying there and his girlfriend was laying on top of him and the guy's like fucking his girl. Some shit. It was just really weird. I'm like, why would you do this to yourself? But he did it. Anyway, he was like having this conversation with Moist Critical about kids. And like, well, I'll just play it.
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
Your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a familial decision to make, yeah.
Okay, so a child can cut their penis off and take hormone blockers and change their biology forever, but they can't get married?
Well, that's a decision that now extends beyond the family because now you're bringing in a different party. So if you have someone that's your age coming in saying, I want to marry that child, I don't think that can happen under any circumstance.
So
no.
But it's still a personal decision. You're still deciding. Because there's take the other party out of the equation. It's a personal decision. If I'm 16 and I personally want to marry this girl, she's beautiful, she's 21 years old, her family wants to do it, my family wants to do it. You're saying I can't do that. We're both consenting. I'm ready to go. I'm physically mature, but I'm not allowed to marry because Moy says that woman's a pedophile. But if then the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is. I believe.
Yeah. Bruh, I personally don't agree with that. I don't think kids should, you know, once you're like above the 18 or whatever, you want to go do your shit, you know, whatever. Like, you know, if my daughter ever one day, I'd still love my kid regardless. I wouldn't like alienate them or something like that. But I wouldn't encourage this shit. I don't know what kind of person. And to me, it's like the parents have lost control. Now they have to get their kids' permission and like consent with their kids and shit. Oh, well, if you want to or whatever. I don't think cutting off or doing any kind of surgery when you're young, making I don't know when it became acceptable for kids to like make life altering decisions and you have to consult with your kids and like, oh, is it okay? I'm not sure. Wild. And then somebody, Rashad, which I like this guy. He disagrees with me on a couple of things that I've seen on Twitter. Okay, here we go. But I actually like him. He said he didn't think you could do that under 18, but apparently, stand up! Jim said that you can. Okay, in California, surgery. You can get surgery at 15, apparently, in Cali, which doesn't surprise me. In one case, provided an individual from California received masculinizing chest surgery at 15. And I know I've heard of stories under the age of 18. You can. The procedure is mostly offered to teenagers 15 and older. New York Times reported, however, we found one report of a 14-year-old who obtained the procedure. Oh, the other case was Jazz. Oh, she was 17. Okay. Well, just don't do it to toddlers. Please, don't do this to toddlers. I'm gonna let the music bypass because they, not that I'm monetized right now, but they tend to copyright claim. So for the sake of monetizing, I don't want to get copyright claims. We'll wait till Trump starts talking. In 2019, the World Health Organization voted to remove gender identity disorder from its global manual of diagnosis, the International Statistical Classification of Disease, and to reclassify transgender health issues as a sexual health issue instead of a mental health. Interesting. I don't know. I really have no problem. My issue is like when it starts like with kids and stuff. I mean, but you know, some of them say that stuff starts at childhood, whatever. You know, I don't know. I don't know about surgery. Even the pills, like the HRT, is very, to me, kind of controversial because when you're so young, you start popping those pills and you start changing your hormones. There's like no going back, you know. But at the same time, some people, I've heard some of these people can become, they say they'll be suicidal. Like if they don't do something, they're gonna kill themselves, type of thing. So they have to do something to feel better and comfortable in their body. I don't know.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. This is a nice crowd.
Thank you, Silverback.
We're going to be talking a little bit about a wonderful thing called religion tonight.
Oh,
is that
really?
okay?
Yo, all right. And you guys tell me in the chat, are you religious? What do you think about religion?
The
you
normal,
religious?
and that's good. That's
think it's
really
BS?
good. And I just want to say hello to everybody and to Turning Point for the fantastic job that Turning Point does. Thank you very much, Turning Point. This is a great group. This is from corner to corner. This room is packed, and there are a lot of people outside. But we have to forget about them, right? We just have to. That's the way life goes. But I'm thrilled to be back with so many proud, hardworking American patriots who believe in faith and family, God and country. Thank you very much. And we want to thank each and every one of the believers in this room for your prayers and your incredible support.
Yeah,
I really did
Katrina.
appreciate it. Something was working, that we know. Something
You
was
start
working,
popping
so I
HRT
thank you
pills?
very much. And I stand before you tonight thanks to the power of prayer and the grace of Almighty God.
Christian.
As I think you can see, I've recovered well, and in fact, just took off the last bandage off of my ear. I just got it off. I took it off for this group. I don't know why I did that for this group, but that's it. I think that's it. I hope that's it. Let me also thank Charlie Kirk for hosting this event and for his leadership, as well as Bishop Aubrey Shines. Thank you, Bishop. A great friend of mine, a tremendous woman of
you're
faith.
religious? I'm
Pastor
surprised.
Paula White is here, and she's been so incredible wherever you may be, Paula. Where's Paula? She is fantastic. Thanks, Paula. Pastor Jensen Franklin, one of the biggest, one of the most powerful, one of the greats. Thank you, Pastor. He's been with us from day one. Pastor Lorenzo Sewell.
Bro, Ryan Garcia just posted, I hate trans people. Oh, my God. Oh, is he off? Is he going on a bender right now?
Where is that pastor? Whoa, hello, pastor. Nobody wanted to follow him, I can tell you that. There was people said, I'll pass. You were fantastic. Thank you very much, Pastor. It was an honor to be in Detroit. And we were in serious Detroit, right? That was the real Detroit. Thank you very much. So respected, such a wonderful man. And speaking of respect, Secretary Ben Carson. What a great guy.
Oh, that was Ben Carson. Actually, I like Ben Carson.
Nobody like him.
I like Ben Carson.
Former ESPN anchor Sage Steele. Thank you, Sage. Sage has been terrific.
Bro,
She's been terrific. Amazing person.
They got nothing to lose.
Another
I guess they canceled
amazing
him from
person
boxing.
is a man named Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro, a patriot, one of the best trade people ever. He understood China better than anybody but me. I understood
China.
it better. No, we both understood. Where is Peter? What a great guy. Peter, where are you, Peter? There he is. Peter, thank you very much. What a great guy. He got it.
Yo,
He got it.
Garcia,
he was something special, and
going
he's
on a
going to come
binge right
back
now.
with us, I think. Peter, you coming back with us wherever? Yeah, there you are. Thank you, Peter. He's coming back. He really did. He understood trade. He understood it better than just about anybody. He understood how we were being ripped off for years and years and years, and nobody did anything about it. But we did.
Wow, he said
And today
trans
we're
are
delighted to announce the
PDF
launch
files.
of our new coalition, Believers for Trump. Believers, you're believers for Trump.
I bet you he deletes this by tomorrow.
As you know, 5 days ago, we officially defeated the worst president in the history of the United States, crooked Joe Biden. You know, I thought a lot about it. We defeated him. He was badly beaten, and you know, everybody was going to him said, "You can't beat him. You're not going to beat this guy. You can't beat him. Get out, get out. We want you out." There was nothing nice about what they were doing, and they were saying, "We want you out of the race. You're going to lose. We want to put somebody else in." How about that? It's like a prize fighter. He's losing badly, ready to be knocked out, and they say, "Well, wait, let's stop the fight. Let's put somebody else in." It doesn't work that way, and it's not supposed to work that way. And this really was a coup by the Democrats. This was a coup, nothing else. He got 14 million votes. I hate to stick up for Biden, but you know, he didn't want to do what he did. He said, "I'll never go out. I'll never, ever go out." 2 days later, "I'm proud to go out."
That's
Because
true.
the
That's true.
fascists went after him. They threatened him with the 25th Amendment. They said,
He was very adamant about not stepping down and backing out, and then like literally a couple of days they pressured his ass after the debate.
"We can do it the nice way or we can do it the hard way, Joe." That's what happened. I know as many people on that side as I know on our side, so to speak. But that's what happened. They said, "We can do it the hard way. We can do it the easy way. 25th Amendment if you don't go." And he said, "Oh, I'll go." And now they're trying to make him into a brave hero. He's so brave. Last night or the other night, he made a speech behind the beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office. And look, I'm not looking to knock. I want to give people credit or not credit. It was horrible. And then you turn on to like CNN and MSDNC, the worst. They're just horrible. And they're saying one of the finest speeches we've ever seen. I mean, Churchillian, somebody said. Winston Churchill. No, Winston had it on him a little bit. It was so bad, and they pretended it was good. And they're doing the same thing with her. She was a bum 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
She was
Oh
a
my
bum.
God.
A failed vice president in a failed administration with millions of people crossing, and she was the border czar. Now they're trying to say she never was the border czar. She had nothing to do with the border. She was the border czar. They're trying to take it. They're deleting it all over the place. They want to
true.
take it because we have the worst border in history. And 3.5 years ago, we had the best border that we've ever had.
Damn,
In fact,
over a
my
bum.
chart that I looked over to the right, that chart, you know, the famous chart that showed we had the best numbers in history, at least recorded history on the border. That chart probably saved my life. Can you believe it? Because
That's
I looked
wild.
over.
Yeah. That's wild as shit.
If I didn't look over, I got a problem. Wasn't too good anyway. Did you see the FBI today apologize? They said,
Yes!
well, it might have been a bullet, but it might have been glass. So really, where did the glass come from? Or it might have been shrapnel. Where did the shrapnel come from?
Bro.
No, they then said,
Yo, so some pretty disgusting shit. They try to, that guy, he tried to play it down like, they're trying to say maybe it wasn't a bullet. And then apparently they released some type of statement. They're like, oh, well, actually, maybe it was. Update, FBI released a statement confirming Donald Trump was hit by a bullet. This guy tried to downplay it, like, oh, well, maybe we're not sure during a congressional hearing, and now they're walking it back. I'm like, how are you going to do some shit like that? The statement reads, what struck former President Trump in the ear was a bullet. where the whole are fragmented into smaller pieces fired from the deceased subject's rifle. During the hearing, there's a clip of it. They try to downplay, oh, maybe it wasn't, we're not sure, or whatever. But now it's like, oh, no, now it's a bullet again.
It was a bullet. They just try and do it. It just never ends with these
So
people.
crazy
They
with
raid
these people.
Mar-a-Lago. They do things so bad, so bad. Our country is so sick. But they apologize. We accept their apology. So now we have a new candidate to defeat the most incompetent, unpopular, and far-left vice president in American history. That's what she is, the most incompetent, but certainly the most far-left. Together, 4 months from now, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, who a short time ago strongly fought to defund the police and the radical left Democrat Party. We're going to take back that very beautiful White House, and we're going to make America great again, guaranteed, and it's going to go fast. With your vote, I will defend religious liberty in all of its forms. I will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, in our hospitals, and in our public square. And I will also protect other religions. We want that, right? Other religions. And we will bring our country back together, one nation under God.
I'm going to give you my thoughts, just my personal thoughts about religion after Trump is done talking. Just my own personal experience.
But if radical, liberal Kamala Harris gets in, and by the way, there are numerous ways of saying her name. They were explaining to me, you can say Kamala, you can say Kamala. I said, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what I say. I couldn't care less if I mispronounce it or not. I couldn't care less.
We literally talked about this earlier today.
Some people think I mispronounce it on purpose, but actually I've heard it said about 7 different ways. There are a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways. But if radical liberal Kamala Harris gets in, you will have the exact opposite effect. Harris will appoint hundreds of extreme far-left judges to forcibly impose crazy San Francisco liberal values on Americans nationwide. Now, you've seen what's happened to San Francisco. It was the best city maybe in our entire country 15 years ago. And now it's barely livable.
It's gone to shit.
That's
really
what
bad.
she's the one that started. She was an original defunder. She was a defunder of the police. She said, let's defund the police. She was the first one to start it. But now, of course, she's tough. She did not. They always, one thing about a politician, I guess including me, you always go back to your original thought. Now, my original thoughts were very good. You'll like my original thought. I'm the only one out there that probably got worse. It's true. My original thoughts, you always go back to them. And she went back to them, and she will go back. If she ever got in, she will go back to all of those horrible original thoughts that she had. She'll appoint hardcore Marxists to the Supreme Court to shred our Constitution and all of our religious liberty. She will do that absolutely. She will try as hard as she can to add as many justices as possible to the U.S. Supreme Court. We don't want that to happen, do we? We like our 9 justices the way they are. We don't want to have 17. I've heard numbers 21. 21 sounds like a great number. What about 23? They want to have an odd number. That's the only thing we agree on. In other words, she wants to pack the court, which is their number 1 agenda. And we can't let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. We're not going to have anybody added. We're going to do it the way we've done it for many, many years. That's really a stopper. It's a stopper. The Supreme Court. And by the way, you can take a look. There have been many things that have happened over the last few years where there's been great uniformity on things that aren't necessarily conservative, but they did the right thing. That's what's supposed to be happening, and that's what's happened. They've done the right thing, but they can't pack the court. The hordes of illegal aliens storming across our borders will exceed 40 or 50 million by the time they're finished. That's what they want. They want millions. You know, the number, I believe the real number already, or very close, is 20 million people have come across our border. Think of it. Over a very short period of time, with 4 more years of Harris, who was worse than Joe Biden in a true sense and far more liberal, America will be decimated by migrant crime, demolished by fascism, ravaged by rampant inflation, and impoverished by the complete obliteration of American energy. They don't want any fossil fuel no matter what. In other words, good luck. I hope you enjoy walking to work. You know what makes electricity, right? Fossil fuel. They don't understand that. You know, it comes from someplace, right? It comes from fossil fuel. I'm here tonight because we must never let that happen. Our task is to defeat socialism, to defeat Marxism, communism, to defeat the cartels and the criminals and the human traffickers trafficking women. And that means defeating Kamala Harris in a landslide. We want a landslide this November. We want something too big to rig. Too big to rig.
Yo.
Too big to rig. Too big to rig. We cannot let this, I have to say, once great country, but will soon be a great country again. But right now, we don't feel like this is a great country. We're a laughing stock all over the world, but we can't let our country.
Let me tell you, I ordered my pillow sheath one time only because a friend of mine told me. She was like, yo, these are the best sheets you will ever fucking have. So I ordered a set of the sheets. Yo, they're so good. They were a little pricey, but the quality, holy crap. They have sheets too. It's not just like pillows and shit. I ordered sheets from over there. Really good.
As everyone here understands, the radical left ideology Kamala supports is really militantly hostile toward Americans of faith. And you saw that during the pandemic where people couldn't get together. Even when they wanted to get together with big spaces outside, they were ravaged. As a senator, she viciously attacked highly qualified judicial nominees simply because they were members of the Knights of Columbus, suggesting that their Catholic faith disqualified them from serving on the federal bench. And I'll tell you something, I don't know, we have a lot of Catholics in here, probably not too many. How many Catholics do we have? Whoa, it's a lot. I don't know how a Catholic can vote for the Democrats because they're after the Catholics. Almost as much as they're after me. I would say I top you, I'm proud to admit. But they're really after the Catholics. And, you know, I met today with Bibi Netanyahu, and I will tell you, I asked him a question, and he said he's getting asked that question a lot. I said, how can a Jewish person or a person that loves Israel vote? Think of this, vote for these parties. I mean, how can they vote Democrat? How can they vote for these horrible people that want to destroy? But I asked them, how do they vote for Democrats? Everything is negative. Everything, they want to stay in the way. They don't want to have victory. They want to stop you from having victory. They want to put you in jail. They want to persecute you. How does a Jewish person vote for a Democrat? And traditionally, they have. No, traditionally, they have. And we came to the conclusion it's mostly habit. Because they have for 50 years. I mean, they have. That's what they've done. But how does a Jewish person vote for a Democrat? How does a Catholic person vote for a Democrat? With what they're doing to Catholics, I just don't get it. Somebody doesn't like Catholics in that administration, and I don't even know who it is. I don't think it's Biden because I don't think he has any idea what the hell he's doing. I don't think he has any ideas on any subject. Kamala Harris supports California's outrageous new law trampling on parental rights and allowing minors to change their gender without parental notification or consent. Can you imagine? She's in favor of that, by the way. Or she was. She's probably losing. You know, they're losing as much as they can. But remember, a politician always goes back to where they started. Harris wants to forcibly compel doctors and nurses against their will to give chemical castration drugs to young children. You know that, right? She totally supports that. And she supports the Biden-Harris Title IX policy of forcing every public school in America to let men into women's and girls'
that's
locker
fucking,
rooms.
I'm sorry, that's crazy.
Can you imagine? It's like, what are we doing? What? You know, the whole world is laughing at us. You do know that, right? We've gone wacko. As president, I will protect the safety and well-being of America's children. I will defend the values of the American family. And above all, I will restore common sense to Washington, D.C., because Republicans, and I said this for the last year, and I think it's so true, we're conservative and all of that stuff. But you know what? We're the party of common sense. Common sense. We want borders. We want security. We want safety. We want good education. We'd like low interest rates. We'd like to be able to buy a house. We want safety, though. We want safety. We want strength. We want wisdom. We don't want to have an electric car where everybody has an electric car that doesn't go far, is made in China, costs too much. And by the way, and I want to thank Elon Musk for endorsing me, by the way, I have to tell you. And I said, you know, Elon, remember, I love electric cars. I think your car is great. I love it. But it's not for everybody.
Right.
And, you know, he never said to me, look, I'm going to endorse you, but, you know, you have to show. Because I think the electric car and I think the Tesla, I think it's incredible what they've done. But there are other reasons, like sometimes you want to drive long distances. You don't want to stop. You know, in the Midwest, someplace in the Midwest, they put up 8 charging stations. You know that, right? They spent $9 billion. Now, you know what a charging station is? It's like a gas pump. It's the equivalent of a gas pump for electricity, right?
The problem with those things, too, I heard like it takes forever to charge. Like a year ago, I kind of said that I said that I wanted one of those, not a Cybertruck, but like one of those Teslas or whatever at some point. But then I was like, realistically, I heard those batteries are expensive. Eventually, you got to change them shits out. It's very, I don't know how many, like 10K or plus or whatever. Yo, there you go. B12, 30K for a battery. Some shit. I heard these crazy stories, and I'm like, really? Like, economically, that's not really. Am I really going to have the patience? I don't have the patience to pump my car with gas. You think I have the patience to sit there and charge this shit that takes long? Probably not. I'm not going to be realistically. And I don't care about cars that much anyway. They're like, I love my car now that I have American-made car. The first time I got an American-made car, I love it. But realistically, am I gonna really be sitting there charging this shit forever? And then now, well, I'm in Florida, so I don't have to worry about the cold temperatures. But I heard in some places where it's too cold, the shit doesn't even want to start.
They spend
and then fingerprints all over this shit. Every time you touch this shit, you got fingerprints all over.
$9 billion. That would mean that if they did it throughout the country, all the locations designated, it would cost $5 trillion. So our country would have to file for bankruptcy. They would have to file bankruptcy protection to build church. The whole thing is crazy. They want everything to be all electric. But Elon's great. He endorsed me. He said, look, you know, you got to say what you say. And I love the car. I think it's great. And some people love them and some people want them. But I think if you're going to go long distances, it's a little bit, you're challenged. You're challenged. In my first term, I defended, and like nobody, Christians against hate and bigotry. Nobody did what I did, and Marxist aggression. No president has ever done what I've done for Christians before. I restored religious liberty for doctors, nurses, teachers, and faith groups batteries? Like the beautiful Little Sisters of the Poor. We defended them very strongly. I stopped the IRS from using the Johnson Amendment. That's after Lyndon Johnson, who had a problem with a certain pastor in Houston. Didn't like him, so he passed an amendment. It was a disaster. To interfere with pastors' freedom of speech, he wouldn't let pastors even discuss anything having to do with politics. And if they did do that, they'd take away their tax-exempt status. So pastors were afraid because they need the tax-exempt status in order to do what they have to do. And we want to listen to our pastors. We don't want them to be silenced because these pastors are incredible people. That's right. I listen to you. Sometimes I don't listen well enough, though, I will say. You know, Franklin Graham, you probably heard me say this. I said it a couple of times, but he He's a great guy and always been a supporter of mine. He was never a supporter of people politically, probably he can't be, but he was always a supporter, and openly. But he wrote me a letter a few weeks ago. He said, President Trump, I love listening to your stories. You're a great storyteller. That was very nice. He said, but please, if it's possible, it'll be even better. Don't use foul language. He told me, please, do away with foul language. If you,
I've been wanting to work on that. There was at one point after I got baptized that I stopped cursing, and then I don't know, it just came back to me. But I don't know. It would be nice if I could, but it's hard. It's hard to do.
Don't use foul language. It will be even better. And I thought about it, and I tried it for a couple of nights, actually. Actually, it didn't work out so well. It was, when I get to the punchline, I'm ready to use that one word, just one, Franklin, one word. And then I use a politically correct word, and the whole thing just falls flat. But
it's
I try. I'm trying, Franklin. I'm telling you. No, he's a good man. He's a good man. I issued guidance making clear that the right to freedom of worship does not end at the door of a public school. We know that. I was the first and only president to convene a meeting at the United Nations to end religious persecution worldwide. That's the first president to do it. They didn't want to get into it. All of these very religious presidents that you've had, religious in quotes, they said, no, we'll pass on that. But I went and I did it, and I was proud to do it. For 4 years, I stood proudly with our friend and ally, the State of Israel. And for them and us, I withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal. We left Iran weak, broke, and unable to fund terror. And we would have had a deal if the election weren't rigged and stolen. We would have had a deal within the first week after the election. Instead, Iran is now a very wealthy country. They were a poor country. I said, nobody can buy from them. If you buy from them, you can't do business with the U.S. And China didn't buy, and nobody bought, and they didn't have the money to give to Hamas and Hezbollah. They had no money. They were broke. A Democrat congressman was on a show called Deface the Nation. Do you know? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Deface the Nation. They spend millions of dollars with people to try and build up their name, and then Trump comes up, makes a speech. Look at all the television. Trump comes up, makes a speech, and you go Deface the Nation. So much for that PR.
What is that? They're talking about ivermectin, Z-Pack, and more. Make care great again. You can buy that stuff?
Campaign. But it's true. It is a defacing of the nation in many cases. The others are no different. ABC, NBC, CBS, they're all bad. But we have to bring back an honest press. If we don't bring back honesty in our press, this whole thing is not going to work. But I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. It was a big deal. And got it built for $2 billion under budget. Took an old building and reconverted it for peanuts using Jerusalem stone. A friend of mine said, I love Jerusalem stone. He's in New York, big rich guy. Every time I walk into his office, do you know what this is? I know it's Jerusalem stone. You tell me every time, comes from Jerusalem. So now I'm building. I not only wanted to get it going, but I want to build it because I know I can get it built fast. And they had a building already. They were going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to buy a site in Jerusalem. I said, wait a minute, don't we have something? We checked. Yeah, we always do, because we were there a long time ago. We were there sort of first, always by the post office like I did in Washington. If you get a post office, it's always the first building that they put in years ago. It's always the best location. So I said, do we have anything? Yeah. And I said, hey, listen to the people. We're going to spend $2 billion on building an embassy. I said, how much do you think we can do it for? We think we can do it for $350,000.
Ryan Garcia?
Really, we're going to take an old building and reconvert it. I said, 300. It's the only time I ever said this. I said, honestly, it's too low. It sounds too cheap. I've never done that before. Usually I say, okay, let's make it 300, right? Let's make it 250. But I said, I think it's too cheap. It sounds terrible. Do it for under 500,000. Yes, sir. I said, any chance we can use Jerusalem stone? A friend of mine says it's very expensive. He goes, absolutely, sir. It's all over the place. We're in Jerusalem. So we built the whole thing out of Jerusalem stone. Can you believe it? And got it done for nothing. And it's beautiful. Wow. It's a beautiful embassy.
Wow, look at Ryan. Burning hell.
And that was the capital of Israel. Every president for decades and decades promised that they were going to do that. Capital of Israel, Jerusalem. But I even got the building built. And we got it built. We had a beautiful opening. I went. It was a beautiful opening. Ooh. And I had a young lady named Ivanka there. We had our great first lady there. We had a lot of my children, a lot of my friends. It was a beautiful opening. Remember, it was always going to be a disaster if you do that. And every president was going to do it. They got to the office. They go into the White House. All of a sudden, they get hit by every side. They never did it. They never could get it off. I understand it. There was tremendous pressure not to do it. But I got it done. I got the building built, and it was a great thing. We opened it, and there were no problems, you know. People said there were going to be big problems. There would be bloodshed all over the Middle East. It never happened. It never happened. And we had it recognized, Jerusalem, as the capital of Israel. It was a great thing. It was a great day, actually. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. I never even said I was going to do it. I mean, the fact is, I've done more for Israel by far than any other president, not even close. And with the historic Abraham Accords, as you know, we created peace in the Middle East. Unfortunately, they didn't add any countries to it, but we will. By contrast, Kamala Harris stabbed Israel in the back in its great hour of need. 2 days ago, she refused to attend the speech in Congress of the Prime Minister of Israel. She said, oh, I can't make it. There was just a small group of people, but they couldn't make it because that's her original thought. That's where she comes from. She doesn't like Jewish people. She doesn't like Israel. That's the way it is, and that's the way it's always going to be. She's not going to change. Together with Joe Biden, she gave billions and billions of dollars to Iran and Hamas to fund their campaigns of terror. She gave them billions of dollars. They were broke. Remember, when I left, they were broke. There were stories that Hamas is out of business, Hezbollah is out of business. They were broke. October 7th would have never happened if I were president. The attack on Ukraine by Russia would have never happened. I spoke to President Putin often about it. It was the apple of his eye. He would have never done it. Wouldn't have done it. I said, you'll never do it. He would have never done it. It was only after I left that armies started aligning the border with Ukraine, armies. And I said, oh, he's just negotiating. He'll never do it. But he did it. He did it because we had a weak president. He did it also because our move out of Afghanistan was so incompetently done. And I think when he saw the way we did that, he said, wow, this is a paper tiger that we're dealing with. But they weren't a paper tiger with me. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks instead of 5 years. It was supposed to take 5 years, 4 weeks. Within days of the heinous October 7th attack on Israel, Kamala Harris praised the anti-Israel protesters. You saw that, right? She praised them. She betrayed America's ally and sided with the radical fringe of her party, only for political gain, maybe for personal gain, I don't know. And this week, many of those Kamala Harris supporters burned American flags in the heart of our nation's capital and desecrated our monuments. Did you see? They sprayed very powerful spray paint into limestone. Magnificent, the lions, the bells, you saw it. And you know, when that gets into limestone, you never really get it out. You'll see it in 100 years from now. They desecrated. And by the way, January 6th, well, what's happening to these people that have done serious damage? Have they been arrested? Are they in jail now, like the January 6 hostages? And when are they letting them out? You know, we had a great Supreme Court ruling 4 weeks ago that really should let most of them out. When are they coming out? They're still there. When are they coming out? Unlike liberal Kamala, I will support Israel's right to win its war on terror. You have to support that. Got to win, got to finish it off. And instead of pandering to the jihad sympathizers and America-hating radicals, we will deport them. We will deport them very quickly. We have no choice. And they understand that. They understand that. I have many friends in the Middle East, many great friends in the Middle East. They understand it. In my next term, I will once again appoint rock-solid conservative judges who will protect religious liberty and not let Marxist lunatics rewrite our Constitution. In my first 4 years, we will totally transform the federal bench, appointing remember this, I appointed nearly 300 judges to defend the law and the Constitution as written. I defended this law, this Constitution. Then they say, oh, he is not for democracy. I took a bullet for democracy. He didn't. And I might have taken it because of their rhetoric. Who knows? I withstood vicious attacks to pick and confirm 3 great Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. They're great people. They're courageous people. We've also achieved what the pro-life movement fought to get. For 50 years, they've wanted to get this. For 50 years, they've been working so hard, getting abortion out of the federal government. They wanted it out. That means everybody, Democrats, liberals, Republicans, conservatives, they wanted it out, and they wanted to bring it back to the states for 51 years, to be exact. And that's the way everybody, all legal scholars, virtually everybody, they wanted it out of the federal government, brought back to the states. And now it's up to the will of the people in each state. It's up to the voters. They're doing it. And some states will be more conservative in what they vote for, and other states will be more liberal. I mean, Ohio, we love Ohio, but they voted quite a liberal law. Kansas, same thing, very liberal. Then you'll have a Texas and you'll have other places, but it's now being voted on all over. The people will decide, and that's the way they always wanted it. If Kamala Harris has her way, they will have a federal law for abortion to rip the baby out of the womb in the 8th, 9th month, and even after birth, execute the baby after birth. The baby is born. Remember the former governor of Virginia, he said, the baby is born. We sit with the mother and we discuss what you want to do with the baby. In other words, if you want, we'll execute the baby after birth. And they have laws, and they want to pass laws to that effect. These people are radicalized, and they're sick. They're sick people. So they're really, if you look at it, they're really the radical ones. And like Ronald Reagan, I strongly believe in exceptions for life of the mother, rape, and incest. I think it's very important. Don't forget, you have to go with your heart. But you also have to win elections. Very important. You have to win. So go with your heart. Do what you want, but you do have to win elections. We have elections that are very important to win. And if you don't do certain things, you're not going to win elections, and it'll be a very Pyrrhic victory. It'll be a victory that's not really a victory at all. But Ronald Reagan felt that. I felt that. Many people feel that. And we really did something that nobody thought was possible. I want to thank the 6 Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett for the wisdom and the courage they showed on this long-term and very, very contentious issue. And getting it back to the states puts the question where it belongs, with the vote of the people, and it's happening all over the country. You're having the vote of the people. And over time, it will all work out. It's working out at a rapid rate already. You know that. It's going to many, many states.
All right, y'all. Good morning. Afternoon.
And many have already voted. And sometimes, again, sometimes the vote will be as you like it. Sometimes it won't be quite as you like it. But our country can finally come together. This issue has been killing our country for 51 years. As soon as I take the oath of office, I will stop the Biden-Harris administration's weaponization of law enforcement against Americans of faith and against, frankly, their political opponent.
Oh, sorry.
No longer will their DOJ and FBI be allowed to target, persecute, or round up Christians or pro-life activists and throw them in jail for living out their religious beliefs. And that's what they've been doing. They've been doing that at levels that this country has never seen before. Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country. All of you. You're the soul of our country. You built this country. You built this country. You really did. You built this country.
Blue.
From the moment I win the election, I will rapidly review the cases of every political prisoner who has been unjustly victimized by the Biden-Harris regime, so we can get them out of prison and back to their families where they belong. There's many of them out there. And that includes Paula Harlow, the 75-year-old woman in poor health who the Biden-Harris administration sent to prison for peacefully protesting outside of a clinic. You know that. You heard about that. This wonderful woman, and 75 years old. She's going to jail, and she's in jail. She's going to jail. She's going to be there for quite a while.
I looked into that story the other day, like barely, because it came up in conversation. There's claims that she wasn't just praying. That they said she was being physical and violent, but I wish there was. I barely looked into it. I wish I could see. I don't know if they had pictures or camera or whatever. The counter argument to that is they were saying she wasn't just there praying. They arrested her just for praying. They're saying there's more to the story, supposedly. I forgot
because she was singing religious tunes outside of a clinic. I will create a new federal task force on fighting anti-Christian bias. And its mission will be to investigate all forms of illegal discrimination, harassment, and persecution against Christians in America. The weaponization of law enforcement is the greatest threat to freedom in our country, and nobody knows it better than me. I think I know it better than anybody. The reason Biden, Harris, and their thugs are so desperate to stop us is that they know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We are the only ones that can stop them. This is a movement, Make America Great Again, MAGA, the likes of which our country has never seen before. And by the way, Christians have to vote. You know, I don't want to scold you, but you know that Christians do not vote proportionately. They don't vote like they should. They're not big voters. You know who else aren't voters? The NRA endorsed me very powerfully, strongest endorsement they can give, National Rifle Association. People that own guns and rifles are not big voters. They have to vote. If you don't vote, we're not going to win the election. If you do vote, we're going to win in a landslide. Too big to rig. We're going to win in a landslide. But Christians, you know, you'll go to church every Sunday, and Pastor Paula White and all of the people, I understand, they're doing lockboxes in churches where people don't even have to go to vote. They can now vote in church. And if you do that, we're going to win by numbers that nobody's ever seen before. You know, you have tremendous power, but you just don't know that. But you have to use that power. Christians are a group that's known not to vote very much. You have to go out, at least this election. Just give us in, get us into that beautiful White House. Vote for your congressmen and women. Vote for your senators. We will change this country for the better. This country will be great again like never before. You got to vote. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, November 5th, which is a period, really, because you're allowed to vote early. They have early voting, late voting. Everything is so ridiculous. We should have one-day voting, paper ballots, voter ID, and certification of citizenship, and that's what we're striving for. But voting actually starts on September 6th in North Carolina, a great state. We're doing very well there. I only say that when we're winning or going to win, you know that. I mean, it's just one of those little things, can't help it. No, it's a great state. North Carolina, September 6th. Then it's Pennsylvania toward the end of September, and it's various states in September, and then you have October, and you know, it used to be on November 5th you vote. But November 5th, meaning November 5th period, meaning this election will be the most important election in the history of our country. We're going to save our country with this election. So all of their persecution is only happening because I am running for president and leading very big in all of the polls, including big leads against Kamala. We have very good leads, you know, despite the fact that she came in as a replacement, a mandatory replacement. Joe, you're doing badly, Joe. We want you out, but I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. You're going out, Joe. Do you understand that, Joe? You're going out, Joe. I don't want to go out.
Accused of a convicted child rapist is being allowed to compete at the Olympics. What the heck is going on? Steven van der Velde was convicted of raping a British 12-year-old girl back in 2016. The Netherlands Olympic Committee, which selected van der Velde, said, hey, he served his sentence so he can reintegrate. And apparently there's kids performing at this Olympic shit. Wow. 4 years and 3 months and still represent your country. That's what they have representing the Netherlands? A rapist? Child rapist? I honestly couldn't even believe it. I just like, there's no way this is true. So I just did a quick Google search. I'm like, bruh, what? What the?
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
Convicted rapist to compete in Paris. What? To investigate his inclusion. Well, we got to be inclusive. We can't, we can't be uninclusive, or we can't be, what do they say? Everybody has to have a chance at inclusion and acceptability and everything, unless you disagree with their politics. But if you're a child rapist, you can compete and be involved in all this shit, apparently. Wow. Convicted child rapist is slated to compete in the Paris Olympics this week. Wow, mamma mia. How do you do this shit? What kind of country would let this person represent them? Shit. Okay, all right.
Joe had a much more, I had the Presidential Records Act on my side. I was allowed to I didn't do anything wrong. He did, because he didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He lost his case, but the decision was he's incompetent. So he can't go to trial. So he's incompetent. Think of this. He's incompetent. He can't go to trial, but he's allowed to be president. So he can't go to trial because he's incompetent. He can't defend himself, but he's allowed to be president. What's that thinking all about? The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2024. We won't have a country left, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. This is fun being with you. It's like a love fest. Tomorrow I'm going to be with the Bitcoin people. That's a little different. We cover lots of territory. No, but we love being with you. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great, great badge of honor. Don't forget, I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone. I always use him because Scarface. He's the meanest guy. See the guy right up in the front row, this big, strong guy with the hat on. Stand up. Look at the muscles all over. Yeah, stand up. Look at him. If Al Capone had dinner with him and didn't like him, all those muscles wouldn't mean a thing. He'd be right now in the foundation of a building someplace. I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, but I've been indicted for you. I've been indicted for nothing. I protested a crooked election. That's what they indicted me on. But I've been indicted for you. And never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never, ever let them take away your freedom. It's as simple as that. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way, right? And that has never been clearer than it is today. If Kamala Harris gets in, she will be the most extreme, radical, liberal president in American history. Probably, I could say, politician. As a senator, think of this one. As a senator, Harris was ranked #1 most far-left Democrat in the entire Senate. And that includes Bernie Sanders. Do you believe that? She is more liberal than Bernie Sanders. I didn't think you could get more liberal. She is substantially more liberal. Remember, defund the police. I want to defund the police. Now all of a sudden she says, oh, I'm tough on crime. Nope. You always go back to where you came from. She's never been tough on crime. She makes Bernie Sanders actually look like a moderate. You don't want that. You can't have that. Look, we can't. We're not going to survive. I'll tell you what. If she does win this election because of whether it's cheating or any other way, it's impossible to believe somebody can say, let people come into our country. And I mean, these people that are coming in are rough. The only thing good about, they're so dangerous and so bad, they make our criminals look like very nice people. That's the only thing good about them. She supports free government health care for illegal aliens, abolishing ICE, decriminalizing illegal immigration. Do you believe it? Mass amnesty for illegals, banning fracking. No more oil drilling. We don't want any more oil. We want everything to be run by wind. We'll put a windmill on the top of our car. She wants to outlaw private health insurance. A lot of people have private health insurance. They want to keep it that way. It's phenomenal. She wants to defund the police, forcibly ripping guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. As vice president, she even cast the tie-breaking vote to cut Medicare by $237 billion, your Medicare. And remember, Social Security is going to be wiped out because she's going to put the illegals coming into our country into that system. It's going to wipe out that system. You're not going to have Social Security. You're not going to have Medicare. You're going to officially, we're close anyway, you're officially going to third world status. The Harris agenda is an agenda for national destruction. The Trump agenda is an agenda for national renewal and greatness. We're going to make America great again. On day one, I will seal the border and stop the invasion of our country. Since Kamala was appointed border czar, and that's what she is. She wants to take the name away. Oh, I don't want that name anymore. She loved it when she had it, but she never went there. She never did a thing. I was with Tom Homan and some of the great people, Brandon Judd the other day, and they were saying, first of all, they said, Trump is the greatest president in the history of the country. I should say that. And he was the greatest on illegal immigration, and that's true, definitely. But since Kamala was appointed border czar in March of 2021, millions and millions of illegal aliens have stormed across our borders. You know that. And they're coming not just from South America. That's the least of it. They're coming from Africa. We had people coming in from parts of Africa. The Congo, 22 people from the Congo a couple of months ago. Where do you live? The Congo. Oh, what's your address? We lived in prison. What did you do? We refused to say. Oh, welcome to America. It's lovely to have you. They come from Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming from all over, not just South America. They're coming from prisons and jails, mental institutions and insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at levels that we've never seen before. When I had the safest border we've ever had. Let me tell you, my border was safe. It was safe. Nobody's seen anything like it. And one of the things I was most proud of, I stopped much of human trafficking, which has become as big a business as the drug trade. And they traffic in women. They traffic more in women than anything else. And they were afraid of us. They're not afraid any longer. Human trafficking, women trafficking, but human trafficking is way up. And it's a bigger business than it was 100 years ago. You think of it almost as an ancient crime. It's not. You know what made it big? The internet. The internet's made it a tremendously big business, similar to the drug trade.
I like that.
Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up while crime statistics all over the world are plunging. They like to say, oh, our rates are down. They're not down. They're way up. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. We've become a dumping ground for the entire world. In Venezuela, crime is down 72%. Wow. I'm going to tell Charlie Kirk, I'm going to say, Charlie, next year, I want to have your wonderful summit in Venezuela. And he'll say, why? I said, because there's no crime in Venezuela. They put all their criminals into the United States. So I want to go to Venezuela where it's safe. Can you believe it? Do you know that Caracas, Venezuela, was one of the most crime-ridden cities in the world? Now it's safe because they've taken those criminals, they've taken those drug dealers, they've taken their prisoners, and they've moved them into the United States, large numbers, and the rest are coming. But they're not coming with me. We're going to get them the hell out of here, all of them. They're sending all of their criminals to us, all of these countries, all over the world. They're sending them to us. So you see numbers which are plunging all over the world because they don't have. Wait till you see, and don't forget, these people have just, there's something about, you got to get used to it. They just got put here. They're getting used to our country. They're getting used to, we have the greatest law enforcement in the world, but we don't allow them to do their job. We're going to allow them to do their job. Otherwise, you're not going to have a country left. You're not going to teach a criminal not to be a criminal. Border Czar Harris will let murderers, child predators, and bloodthirsty rapists and drug dealers charge across our borders by the tens of thousands a day. I will throw the killers, criminals, and illegal aliens and gang members the hell out of our country, or if they're really bad, we'll put them in our jails. With your vote, we will begin the largest deportation operation. We have no choice in American history. We have no choice. Starting on day one, we will end the Biden-Harris inflation nightmare and make America affordable again. So we've had the worst inflation, I think, in our country's history. They say, sir, it's only 58 years.
Bad.
I say, I believe it's the worst we've ever had. Yeah. The numbers are much higher than they're showing. What they're showing is through the roof. But the numbers are even worse than that. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will stop their war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill, right? Drill, baby, drill. You'll be drilling right in front. You'll be a driller. I will terminate the Green New Scam, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate. We want you to buy electric cars, Elon, but not everybody. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips. Is that okay? Do we have any waitresses? Do we have any drivers, any caddies? There's one. Look at her. She's happy. No, it's something we can do. Let them keep their money. You came all the way from where? Las Vegas, right? No tax on tips. Remember, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You know where I got this? Not from a big consultant that charges you $2 million to write up a report that doesn't mean anything. I got it from a waitress having dinner. I said, how are you at Trump in Las Vegas? Beautiful Trump Tower in Las Vegas. I said, hotel. I'm in the restaurant. I said, how's everything going? To a great waitress. She said, not good. They're just killing me on taxes. I said, taxes? What do you mean taxes? Don't they hand you cash? No, actually, most of it's done on the check. She said, they're after us all the time. And now they just passed regulations to Biden where they go after. They could go into your homes. They hired 88,000 new IRS people. You saw that? 88,000. By the way, they're allowed to carry guns. Nobody can have guns, but they're allowed to carry guns. Can you imagine this? But 88,000. And she was saying how unfair it is, how horrible it is. And it really, it's like harassment. And I said, you know what? There shouldn't be tax on tips. There will be no tax on tips from now on. And we'll get that done very fast. I hope you remember that. You better get out and vote. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will get it settled, and I will prevent World War III. Nobody else is going to say that. We are closer today to World War III than we've been since the Second World War. We will restore peace through strength. That's what we had. Remember when Hillary Clinton, crooked Hillary, remember Hillary? She used to say, look at him, he will get us into war. Look at his attitude. I said, no, my attitude is going to keep you out of war. That's what happened. We had no new wars. Other than I defeated ISIS, but that was a war that was already started. I defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate. In my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like has never been seen before, and it will be entirely made in the USA. A lot of it will be in Florida. A lot of it will be right here
Mamma mia.
in Florida. Oh, you like that idea? Look at her. Yeah. Why shouldn't we? It's our technology. We know how to do it. You know, Israel, they had 300 rockets shot at it fairly recently. It knocked every rocket except one out of the sky. The other one was mortally hit and fell to the ground harmlessly. I say, why aren't we doing that? We're helping other people do it. Why aren't we building our own? And we're going to build it. And you know what the beauty is? We're going to make it here. It's going to be jobs and all that stuff. But somebody shoots a missile at us. We want to knock the hell out of the missile. We don't want to be landing in our cities. We're going to build it, and we're going to have it done, and it's going to be a lot of jobs, and it's going to be the most technologically advanced ever, even beyond what they have in Israel. We helped Israel with that. You know, Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but then, in all fairness, then we didn't have the technology, not even close, but now we have an incredible technology. I will not cut one penny from Social Security or Medicare, and I didn't. Remember, I was the one that didn't. They are going to destroy it because they're signing up millions of people to go into Social Security and Medicare. They're going to destroy it. I will not cut one penny. I will not talk about 1 day or 1 year shorter, and I will not raise the retirement age of Social Security by 1 day, not by 1 year. We're not going to raise it at all. You can bank on it. You can bank on it. They're going to raise it. They're going to raise it way up. You'll say, you know, I'm getting ready to retire, but they just raised the Social Security age to 94.
Damn, no, they really? No,
Kamala Harris will destroy Medicare and Social Security. She's destroying it. You watch. Flooding it with millions and millions of illegal aliens who she will turn into American citizens so that she can get the votes for the Democrat Party. What they don't understand is with the Hispanic population, I think I'm doing better than they are right now. Won't that be a kick for them? We're doing great with Hispanics. We're doing incredibly with our black population is liking Trump much more than liking them. Wait till you see what those numbers are. Because they like security, they like jobs. You know, all these people that are coming in, they're affecting more than anybody else the black population. Second, they're affecting the Hispanic. They're taking their jobs. All of these millions of people that are flowing in are taking the jobs of black people, of Hispanic people, and of unions. The unions are not happy. They're taking union jobs. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We'll work with Democrat governors and mayors. Every single city that's in turmoil and danger, you look at Chicago and you look at all of the different cities all over the country, they're all Democrat run, every one of them, the top 25 for crime. What's going on with the crime. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., clean it up, renovate it, make it beautiful, rebuild our capital city so that it is no longer a nightmare of murder and crime, but rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. Right now you go down, let's go to Washington and look at the Jefferson Memorial. They want to change the name of that, as you know. Well, the Washington Memorial, they want to change that name too. How do you figure we're going to change the name of George? I figured he was the one that was safe. I also figured Abraham Lincoln was safe. Nobody's safe. Yeah. Nobody's safe. You know, we won 2 world wars out of certain forts, like Fort Bragg and other forts, Fort Lee, many forts. They changed the names of those forts. They changed their names. We left, they changed the names. No longer Fort Bragg. And the people in that area, they're not happy. But we won 2 world wars out of these forts. As an example, Fort Bragg, proud. We won 2 world wars. Let's change the name. On day 1, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. Thank you. It's true. Save our kids is right. Save our kids is right. And you're right. Thank you. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Not a penny. And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
And as I did for 4 years, I will fully uphold our very important but under siege Second Amendment. It will be fully upheld. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country, and I will secure our elections. Our goal will be, as I said, one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. You know, when you negotiate, and I do that with the Democrats, and I negotiate with them all the time on this, but I say, look, we've got to fix our laws on voting. We have to start with voter ID. Everybody has to have, no way! The discussion never even goes any further. I say, we have to have voter ID. It's called voter identification. Nope, we're not going to do it. Now, there's only one reason they do that, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. Anything else, you know, in their national convention, when they had their convention, they have a voter tag on them bigger than their chest, depending on which chest we're talking about. Bigger than their, like this. Has their name, their serial number, it's got the whole deal. Middle name, past addresses, it's got everything. Otherwise, you can't get into the Democrat National Convention. But with voting, one of your most important things you can do, maybe in many ways your most important, they don't want to approve voter ID. That's because they want to cheat. But until then, Republicans must win. We have to win this election, most important election ever. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time.
You know,
you won't have to do it anymore.
Jehovah's Witness doesn't believe in getting involved in politics. They don't vote or anything.
4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine.
At least that's what I was
You won't
told.
have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. In conclusion, America has always been a nation won, built, and sustained by Americans of faith. It was faith that led the Pilgrims to cross an ocean and settle this majestic continent. It was belief in our Creator that led the patriots to defend their liberties in the war for independence. It was faith in America's God-given destiny that pushed the pioneers to journey west. And it was trust in God that led generations of American believers to end slavery, defeat fascism and communism, and make this into the greatest and most exceptional nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, its willpower, and its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With our leadership, every disaster Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have created can be fixed, and can be fixed quickly, and it will be fixed quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. We will have it in full retreat. It will happen quickly. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Right? Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. It will be the most important day in our history as a country. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. God bless you.
Hey.
God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
Oh no! Oh well. It reminds me of the RNC night. That RNC night was a lot of fun. Hold on. As far as this guy in the Netherlands that's being allowed to compete in the Olympics, which is just the way he like throws his hands up. This guy too, like the details that I saw somebody else's tweet. And you can find it on like Wikipedia or whatever other website, whatever source you want to choose that fits you is fine. But this wasn't just a thing where this guy, it was like an age gap thing, right? They're saying this happened in August 2014. He was 19 years old at the time and it was a 12-year-old girl. He met her on Facebook and he traveled to her house when the mother was away and apparently gave her alcohol, R'd her several times. And apparently it looks like this person was traumatized because the victim would eventually go on to self-harm and once overdosed. He returned to the Netherlands after the R, although he was eventually extradited to the United Kingdom and arrested in January 2016. After his release, Van der Vid complained about all the nonsense reporting on his crime in the media, claiming that the term pedophile did not apply to him without expanding further. At the same time, he stated yet having read any of the reporting he was criticizing. Okay. The NSPCC condemned his comments at the time, stating his lack of remorse and self-pity is breathtaking. Van der Vid returned to international competition in 2018 when he excused himself in an interview, saying that he, aged 19 at the time of the rapes, made a choice in his life and made that choice in my life when I wasn't ready. I was a teenager still figuring things out. I was sort of lost. He has since described it as his biggest mistake in his life. Only thing is, like, I know sometimes these age gap things happen, I guess, but like this whole thing of like giving her alcohol and then like R-ing her, it doesn't seem even consensual, even though, you know, they say you can't consent, but it seems like kids these days too, are younger ages, are being involved in sex. But this dude like flew out there while the mom was away, gave her alcohol, I guess got her drunk, you know, at that age, at 12, bro, a 12-year-old drunk? Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, and the girl seems, I don't know where she's at today, but seemed to have been struggling with that whole situation. Anyway, this is the guy that's competing and representing the Netherlands. You would think, like, I don't know, they'd have some type of shame or something. No, this is our representative for our country. Bro, what in the hell is going on? What time, I mean, what day and age are we in that they put people like this to represent the country? Wow. Okay. All right. I guess real quick on my thoughts as far as religion, just my personal experience. And yeah, Ryan Garcia is going crazy. I feel like by tomorrow morning, because I've seen Ryan do these rants, I feel like by tomorrow morning, he's going to delete half of this shit, if not all of it. I think. If he stands on it the next day, I'll be surprised. Because I've seen him do this before where he goes crazy. The next day deletes all this shit, you know, whatever. As far as religion, I don't know, man. I have, so like I pray sometimes at night. It gives me some comfort. Like I try to pray. I'd like to believe there's a higher being out there, But I also understand where people are coming from, people that have suffered, people that have been raped, people that have got cancer, people that have all these horrible fucking things that happen to people on a daily basis. And they're like, well, why the F should I believe in God? And I used to ask that because I when I was a child, I was Jehovah's Witness. It wasn't my choice. I was just in it. And you would ask those things. They always have some type of explanation. Oh, there's a bigger plan or some bullshit or it's the devil or whatever. I really do kind of sympathize and I understand where those people are coming from because a lot of this shit don't make no fucking sense to me. Kids getting raped and kidnapped and all this shit. And this is just some part of some bigger plan or whatever. And it's the devil, blah, blah, blah. It's hard for me to accept that. I just can't. Or kids born with cancer or a year later, 2 years later. You know, I used to do chemotherapy patients and I used to do chemotherapy for kids. Like I used to make the medication and you see these little kids in there dying or, you know, their hair is gone. And you're just supposed to believe this is part of some bigger plan. And then if you look historically, again, I'm not an expert in this, but if you look historically, people have killed in the name of religion. I almost feel like, and I think I've had this not really a direct conversation with Hoax, but he's kind of mentioned this and I agree with it. Like religion is probably the most deaths in mankind might be related to religion. Like they used to just burn you because you fucking believe in something else. If you don't believe what they believe, they put you on a stake and they burn you alive. Or if you have whatever kind of belief, or if something's different from you than everybody else, well, okay, we're going to burn this person and put him on a stake and burn him alive. We're all going to sit here and watch this person burn to a crisp or whatever, you know? But, and the way I grew up, I grew up Jehovah's Witness and, you know, they're nice people, but they're a little weird. You know, they don't celebrate holidays and whatever. And one of the things that I remember as a kid that stood out to me was that there was this lady that she got pregnant. She got pregnant out of wedlock. And I remember back then she got banned from the church. I remember she was a nice lady. I guess she got pregnant. They banned her. It wasn't even like, oh, we forgive you, or I don't know if it's still like that to this day, but when I was a kid, I remember this lady got banned. And I remember thinking to myself as a young kid, like, oh, I thought they were about forgiveness or like redemption or like all this other bullshit. And then I remember too, as a kid, Jehovah's Witness, I guess they don't believe in the devil. I don't remember what they believed in, but I remember when I was a kid, I felt like I was always going to go to hell. If I did something wrong, I'm not going to make it to the afterlife and I'm condemned and I'm going to hell. And I used to, as a kid, have dreams about the devil, even though they don't believe in the devil. I used to have all these dreams and I was like, fucking constantly, these people are just making you feel like you're going to hell. It wasn't a good feeling. And sometimes if I don't want to go to church, well, they, you know, at the time I was made to like sit in the closet. No, not sit. I'd have to stay on my knees in the closet in the dark until my mother got back from church and my stepfather would be watching TV in the living room. You know, so like, I really, I understand where people are coming from, the people that don't believe in God. I totally understand it. I pray. I like to believe there's a higher power. I don't go to church. I like Christianity. I went to a Catholic church. I don't know if it was a Catholic. I believe it was a Catholic church one time or twice. I walked into this church, and maybe Catholics don't believe in this. I thought it was a Catholic church. I know it wasn't Christian. I walked in there, and they did this thing where like people walk to the front of the church, and they stand there, and they're all like, oh, and the person is standing in front of the priest, and they're like doing some shit. They're like, oh, I feel the spirit. Ah! I think that's all bullshit. It's just my opinion. I think that's bullshit. I think these people are frauds. But I did like Christianity. I was going to this church when I got baptized years ago, and I went to this church, and like, it was nice. I went for a while. I thought it was nice. Now, all I do really, I don't go to church. I just pray. I pray to God. I like to believe there's a higher being. I like to, I just, appreciate the things that I have. I just tell myself in my head, like, I appreciate everything I have. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you for that. Whatever. And honestly, I think sometimes, too, as violent as religion maybe has been, or maybe is, I think sometimes if it wasn't for that, people would be insane. People would be crazy. If they didn't have religion, they'd be nuts. People have to have they have to believe in something. If there's nothing to believe in, then oh my God, imagine what that's going to be like, right? Like these people already lost their mind. I don't know. And sometimes when I think of the Catholic religion, I know it's bad, but all I think about all those priests that are rapists. I know it happens everywhere, but like, I mean, that's what they're known for, right? That's their moniker. Is that? Did I say that? Did I use that word properly? Moniker. It's a nickname or pet name for a person. I mean, it's been so. I'm not saying everybody's like that over there, but that's what they're known for. So why would I associate with something? And my grandmother's Catholic. Why would I want to associate myself with some type of religion that's all they're known for is raping kids? Like, I don't know, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand where some people are like, F that. I don't believe in this shit. For what? I do empathize where they're coming from. Maybe it was Pentecostal? Okay. And I know, like, the Catholic thing, I don't mean to offend anybody, but in my mind, I've looked up a lot of these stories, hundreds, if not thousands of these priests. I'm like, bro, like, what's going on over there? You know, it's like, what the hell? Kenneth Copeland. He has creepy eyes, that guy, Kenneth Copeland. I saw some lady in the chat the other day. She was really upset, and she was like, "Where was God when I was being raped?" I was like, "Damn, bro." And she said that she kept calling out for him. I was like, "Oh man, I felt bad for the lady." So I don't know. It's a tough thing. I think if it balances you, it keeps you in place, and like gives you hope and gives you things to strive for, and helps you be a better person. I think that's amazing. You know, I mean, some people. I mean, for everybody, the whole thing of death, that's a tough one. Like, what happens when we die? Nothing. Is there nothingness there, or is there something else after? Some people want to hope that there's something else after. I hope there is, but I don't know. No, I haven't, Brandon. Anything by William Lane Craig? No. Should I check it out? Wilson says, I think there's bad apples and everything, right? Bad cops, bad priests, bad white people, bad blacks, oh, you can't say bad. What? Bad blacks? No! I'm just kidding. And bad teachers. True. Yeah, there is. And everything in prayers. Oh, Erica says, with the Catholic Church, I think there are child molesters because they have to be celibate. Maybe. Maybe so. Have I ever listened to Mike Winger? I haven't. I'd be willing to check some of those people out. I think sometimes too, like celibacy, it can be a nice practice, you know, or I don't know. No fap, I think sometimes is really a powerful thing. I know people think it's bullshit or whatever. I practice it at times. But if it gets to the point where you're going to get crazy with the shit, you can't control yourself, maybe you need to go rub one out or have some relations with somebody, you know, like. JB says, Christian author, pretty heady stuff, but solid theology. I mean, I think there's people out there that can have those great conversations probably and break it down, like why these horrible things happen. I'm sure there's people that can explain it. But for some people that are like atheists and have gone through shit, horrible, traumatic stuff, I mean, it's I don't know, because there's people that have gone through horrible, traumatic stuff and religion helps them out. But then there's other people that are like, I've been through this horrible stuff and where was God? Like, this was supposed to happen to me. But then it's like, because there's people too that like go through horrible things and they become stronger because of it. And then there's people that go through horrible things and they're just destroyed because of it. You know, like, and they never recover from it. Blue balls. I'm gonna order the My Pillow stuff. I'm ordering 3 sheets tonight. It's called the Giza pillowcase. Oh, this is Giza pillowcases? Wait, I don't want to order pillowcases. I thought I was ordering the sheets. The Giza sheets. Gaza sheets. They're pretty good. I was picking out the wrong thing though. What the hell? I think you get 50% off with the code R. This company. Oh, it was RSBN. Did my internet cut off? Oh no, it didn't. Daddy Nowski says God is in your heart, not your mind. I agree with that. Yeah. Tell me. Imagine that they were like selling Gaza merch or something, like Gaza, whatever. My Pillow. For some reason, my internet's not working on this browser. I switched browsers, thinking it was going to be better, but now this one has its own problems too. Man. Oh, my computer's acting weird. I'm still streaming? Okay. None of the websites I'm going to is working. Okay. That's weird. DNS address could not be found. Whoa. Mike Winger exposes. I'm going to check him out. I'm going to look him up and see what he has to say. The My Pillow guy, he has really good sheets. I was skeptical, but my friend Lindsay a long time ago told me about it. Well, 2 years ago, she told me about it. She's like, you gotta get these sheets. They're so good, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. So I just ordered one set at the time, and they're the best sheets ever. They're the best sheets I have in the house. And so now they have like almost like a 50% off thing going on, so I'm gonna try to order some. And it's called the Giza sheets. And they're like really, like they stay cool. Like they're nice and cold. The quality's good. And to me, like it stays cool throughout the night. It's really nice. They have pillowcases too. Cancel. Maybe RAM related. Could be. I have a lot of RAM, but honestly, I don't know. It's been a little funky lately. Vera Wang? I haven't heard of that. I'm always open to try some new sheets. Anything that's like kind of cool and comfy. Website working now? Maybe it's Google. They don't want you to look up the website. Milwaukee? Really? Why? Why? Oh, Biden and Harris, their old debate. Oh, yeah, you gotta be careful with Amazon. Yeah, sometimes on Amazon they have knockoffs. They have companies that try to, I guess, make a quick buck, and it might not be the same quality. I've seen that happen before. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out of here. Thank you for hanging out. I guess tomorrow night we'll be back. I think tomorrow at, let me see, what time is the stream scheduled for tomorrow? Tomorrow he's doing a rally tomorrow. At what time? Rally tomorrow. Redirect. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. tomorrow. Eastern. All right, so I'll catch you guys. We're supposed to do movie night tonight, so we're gonna watch a movie and just chill. All right, if there's a chase, I'll be back though on the second page. All right, thank you so much. Peace. Bye. Adios. Love you guys. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh shit! It's not even app is not working. I can't close this shit. What the hell? I'm stuck. Wow. Whoa. Oh, wait, maybe it's this. Okay, maybe now I can go. No, it's not working.